Good morning, it's Jonathan Barrett. Welcome to the on-the-go market report for the 1st of June, end of May. That was pretty quick, one more month to go for the end of the tax year. So let's see how that unfolds. Hopefully everyone's made a bit of profit this year. Has been a hard year's trading, there's no doubt about it, but anyway, we're still there. There's no doubt about that as well. Okay, righty-ho, let's get into the night session. Dow had quite a strong night last night. I guess, optimism is just overwhelming, even though some of the data wasn't all that crash hot. But anyway, we live and learn on that, and we saw the Dow had a pretty strong move. I'll just get that up for you so we can have a quick look as to where the market actually did close. But some good trends. And I guess today in Australia is going to be the big one here. As you can see, GDP is out, and now the market is not looking for some crash hot data out of that. So I think you'll probably find that Aussie is under pressure. On the tweets, we bought that break to the top side on that Aussie dollar. It's failed. So we've basically reversed the positions because of that. It's a unique position because it's I guess we've traded with it. The optimism was there for it to trade higher. It's failed. So let's see what happens. I think you're relatively comfortable to be short the Aussie, and a stop has to be above that last night's high. 107, 60, 70, something like that. If it does break back through 107, 15, 20, revised, but I think if it breaks through the top side, then there must be something else out there. Let's see what happens. GDP today, that'll be the big ticket item, and it's expected not to be all that crash hot. Down 0.3% is where it's meant to be at. So let's see how that pretty much unfolds. And that's got a lot to do with weather and also that correction in the commodity markets which we've seen. So anyway, let's have a look at the Dow, just a bit of a recap. Dow up very strong, 128, 1%. S&P was up 1.06 and the Nasdaq was up 1.37. Around the world, the top 50 was up 1.69% in Europe. FTSE was up 0.86%. That was led by the banking sector, which was quite positive. And the CAC was up 1.63 and the DAX was up 1.86. The market is expected to open broadly higher in Australia. The futures market closed up 21 points to 4,732. So that's certainly pretty good. Also, I guess with that, obviously we've got all that economic data. Let's see exactly what happens on that front. And also a lot more data actually coming out as well. I guess the key last night, I think, was really had to do with mixed data, and I would say there's mixed data in the States. Nothing too much on that, but I guess when you look at it through all the little bits and pieces, yeah, you got to say, well, look, yeah, data is still mixed in the States, and we'll probably expect that to continue. Consumer confidence in the state dropped to a 6-month low, and the Chicago Purchase Managers Index falls to 56.6. That basically suggests that commodities have had pretty much a pretty bad week over the month. And I was just trying to work out, in fact, I think it's the worst monthly drop we've had for some time. I'll just try and grab that to check that, because it is quite interesting. Commodities here, we see the biggest monthly drop in a year. Okay, that's a correction which I think people knew that's what we're actually looking at. Okay, let's have a look at a few of the other things. As you can see, there's that Aussie there that seems to be takes out that lower end. That's I'll just get it's a 60-minute chart I'm after, and you can pretty much see that it's on tenterhooks. Probably test this lower end today, and if it does actually break through that level, then you know it's a different ball game. Let's just try and get this up for you. That's what I want. Just down here. Here we go. 106.40 breaks through that level, then down she comes. Just having a look at the daily chart on that Aussie as well. You can see that, look, it looks okay, but with that number coming today, you could probably expect a little bit of a fallback. Nothing major, but let's see what happens today. Okay, as we normally do when we go through the markets, let's look at the dollar index first and get to the chart first. Dollar index first. We're working on it. That's good. As you can see, that weak trend continues to resume with that dollar. As to how long, I actually hope to think there's a little bit of a low in place. But look, take out that low, we head to the lower end again. As you can see, there's been a bit of a theme here. Every time we get a bit of speed for that dollar, we see a correction that comes around, and that's it. Pretty heavy. The market really wants to sell it. As a result of that, we saw a little bit of support, but not for some of those commodities. But before we do that, let's have a look at, we've talked about the Aussie, the Euro, the dollar yen, where it's favourable, seems to be quite steady but looking okay in a range. Nothing too crash hot on there on either side at the moment, but we are at the lower end of that range as we talked about a little while ago. As the dollar is obviously the key for the dollar index, how that affair with some of our commodities. I guess the most important one I want to talk about is crude oil. A very strong move last night in crude, and quite supportive of that move. The 95 area failed to break, and we came up to the drive time in the States, so the market is buying crude on the back of that optimism. Okay, so we are long. We went long yesterday, in fact 2 days ago, at around this level, looking for that break, and up she trades. We actually feel that trend will continue with us for some time, so I don't think it's, I think you can actually jump on it if you need to. There it is there, momentum indicators still continue to support that move higher. Having a look at copper, quite strong obviously in the States. We've had that bounce higher. Expectations I think after a little bit of a bounce to the top side, so if anything there, I certainly feel that, you know, look, it can edge a little bit higher, but how much higher is another thing. Now, they had a big move on the, let's have a quick look at that silver market, because I was tempted to have a look at that to go in, because I actually think silver's trading a little bit better than gold at the moment. Yeah, okay, glad I didn't. Okay, that's good. But we've had some big moves on the grain markets last night, and particularly wheat is the major one there. Now, Russia has allowed exports to resume. That is why we've seen this fall. They basically feel, like they did last year, that this is going to be a huge crop, and then all of a sudden things are unturned. So a little bit of an issue there, but that's why we're seeing that correction in wheat, corn, and soya. As you can see when you look at the soya chart, it's still a little bit iffy, but we still like the complex, and I guess we've been, and as you can see, soya is just hanging around in that range, nothing too flash. That is supportive of the move higher, that type of technical trading. Looking at wheat, we've checked, so I was going to look at corn. Corn in itself, 748.25, and I think if anything there, you'll see that it has come off from its highs, but it's once again still holding, so I'm not overly anxious about the positions that we have there. Okay, so that's pretty much all about that. I think that's all we've got at the moment there. One other thing which is worthwhile, that natural gas has had a great move, and the natural gas we've held and we've been holding for forever and a day actually does look quite good. The key here with that volatility, as you can see, will it break through this area up the top side? Have a look at that daily chart there, and I would like to think that that's what will happen. A lot of resistance up here. If the market doesn't move on here, it might be worthwhile either slowing down or taking some of that position off. But I think it's interesting with that move from Germany, where they decided they're going to cut nuclear power. I thought it was very interesting. So maybe we'll see a resurgence in demand for natural gas. We've got a lot of it, so hopefully that will help placate that movement. There it is there. You can have a look at it. It looks quite bullish, and one day we will see it break out to the top side and a trend. So stick with those positions. Righty-ho, in terms of economic calendars today, what have we got? Commodity price in Australia, I guess the big one here is GDP quarter on quarter. Expected down 0.3, GDP expected 1.8, so that's trimming back. Let's see, this is going to be really interesting because the market, I don't think, is really focused on these implications in Australia. Implications of the weather, slowdown, housing prices continue to fall. All these things remain relatively negative towards it, yet the currency remains very high. So I guess just taking a little bit further look at the Aussie. Yeah, there it is here, and let's see what that data does, because there we are. That's what it looks like at the moment. And if anything, if this is a continuation move, then it can trade up here and then down. But I think you can add any position and break a 106.40 on the downside, because then it just comes down to that 105.53. So, but anyway, let's see. We do have that today, and keep a close eye on what happens. So should be quite volatile. Remember, the end of the week is the unemployment data, so that's the one to watch out in the States, to see what's happening there and see if we're doing any moving and shaking. Okay, that's pretty much about from me for today. Remember, we do have that 1 o'clock webinar on gold, silver, oil, and a little bit of rare earths. So stay tuned to that. We'll send out another little bit of wrap there in terms of that. Could be quite interesting. That's in line with the conference which I'm doing tomorrow, where I'm actually speaking about these metals and trading them in the mining and finance conference in Sydney tomorrow, which actually started today. So it's a precursor for, I guess, all our clients. So have a great day, and good luck with your trading, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.